Climate change and global warming refer to the long-term shifts in global climate patterns and temperature due to human activities, particularly the emission of greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide. These emissions are primarily generated by the burning of fossil fuels such as coal, oil, and gas, as well as deforestation and other land use changes. The impacts of climate change and global warming are far-reaching and can have significant effects on the environment, human health, and the global economy. These impacts include rising sea levels, more frequent and severe natural disasters such as hurricanes and droughts, changes in precipitation patterns, and shifts in agricultural productivity. Scientists and policymakers around the world have called for urgent action to mitigate the impacts of climate change and global warming. Efforts to reduce greenhouse gas emissions include transitioning to renewable energy sources such as solar and wind power, improving energy efficiency, and implementing policies to incentivize emissions reductions and promote sustainable development. Additionally, adaptation strategies are being developed to help communities and ecosystems prepare for and cope with the impacts of climate change. These strategies include improving infrastructure resilience, enhancing natural ecosystems to act as carbon sinks, and developing new technologies and practices to promote sustainable agriculture and forestry. The urgency of addressing climate change and global warming continues to grow, and it is crucial that individuals, governments, and businesses alike take action to reduce emissions and mitigate the impacts of this global challenge. Climate change is leading to the melting of ice caps and glaciers, resulting in rising sea levels. This is putting coastal communities at risk of flooding and displacement. Climate change is affecting ecosystems and biodiversity, leading to species loss, changes in the timing of seasonal events such as flowering and migration, and alterations in ecosystems functioning. Climate change is causing changes in precipitation patterns, leading to droughts in some areas and more frequent and intense rainfall events in others. The Paris Agreement, adopted in 2015 by nearly 200 countries, aims to limit global warming to well below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels and to pursue efforts to limit warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Countries are required to regularly report on their emissions reductions and progress towards their targets. The impacts of climate change disproportionately affect vulnerable communities, including low-income populations, indigenous peoples, and communities in developing countries. The global community is increasingly recognizing the need to transition to a low-carbon economy, which would reduce greenhouse gas emissions and promote sustainable economic growth. This transition requires significant investments in clean energy, energy efficiency, and sustainable transportation. Climate change is a complex and multifaceted problem that requires coordinated action from all sectors of society, including government, business, civil society, and individuals. Taking action to address climate change is not only necessary to mitigate its impacts but also presents opportunities to create a more sustainable and equitable future for all.